Hello, travelers, trailblazers. The Xianzhou Luofu's quest has come to an end in this version, but unlike what we see in Bellabog, where the history and the past of the Eon is clearly explained in the quest, the Trailblazer quest in Xianzhou focuses on Danhen's past, Luofu has internal conflict, and Xianzhou's upcoming war with the destruction, instead of focusing on Xianzhou's arch-enemy, the Abundance, and explain why Xianzhou turned to the Hunt to go against the Abundance. This is probably why our Trailblazer didn't get a new pass in Luofu, since we haven't got a full picture of the conflict between the Abundance and Xianzhou. Mihail likes to hide text in the open world for us to discover on our own, but the missing of information had led to some misunderstanding about Xianzhou. Some had drawn the conclusion that Xianzhou and Lan are just raising war around the galaxy against innocent Abundance believers only because Xianzhou hated Yao Shi for giving them the blessing they asked for. But the truth is, Denizens of Abundance are not innocent, and Xianzhou might have become one of them if they didn't make the change. This video will be explaining the conflict between Xianzhou and the factions of Abundance by going over who the Denizens of Abundance are, what they have done, and Xianzhou natives' difference and similarity with them. Also analyze the theme behind this conflict based on the hiding text and quest we have so far. So first, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce the space colonizer, biotic nomads, arboreal slave owner, access power against the Alliance, faction that do the opposite of what their Eon do, aka Denizens of Abundance, or Abominations of Abundance according to Xianzhou. Just in case we are judging them by Xianzhou's one side of the story, which could be biased, let's see what other factions say about them first. The travelogue on Xianzhou, written by Todd Roden from the Intelligentsia Guild, gives a conclusion about Denizens of Abundance, which kind of implies a universal view of them. They have natural aggression in plundering resources from various homelands, sometimes completely converting entire ecosystem. They give up their humanity to get long life. The methods they employ includes cannibalism, interspecies blood transfusion, a hive mentality. A translation mistake occurs here, as the Chinese text actually means a hotbed of swarm organism, rejuvenation via hibernation or molting. In other texts, we can find more detail about how each species of Denizens of Abundance act, which is totally opposite of the selfless, altruistic, and healing action path that Yao Shi holds. The Borisins is the most powerful race and major enemy of Xianzhou. Their features are quite similar to werewolves, and they have same ancestor with the Foxian but enslaved them. Borisins have a tribes council system with ancient traditions centered around strong preying on weak, or respect of force. Borisins are skilled at biotechnology and performed various body modification upon themselves. They also have biological spaceship with the ability to feed, attack, and reproduce, known as mecha beast or beast ship. We can find more about nursery for their weapons in the new text about Blade's past. His homeland was destroyed and transformed to a weapon nursery. His family become literal piece of meat to nutrient the mecha beast. This is what makes Blade determined to make weapons for the Cloud Knight and was entitled craftsman at such a young age. One thing surprising is that Xianzhou also use beast battleships, but they are cute and furry. Also, we never heard of Xianzhou having weapon nursery by transforming other planets. They liberate those planets harmed by abominations and help them to restore their ecosystem instead. Maybe we will learn more about how Xianzhou raise their battleship puppies when we go to Yaoqing. Before Xianzhou find Yao Shi, they encountered a creature called Viscorpus, which caused Xianzhou Daiyu to sacrifice itself to protect other Xianzhou from being captured. Viscorpus are the livestock of Borisins, who failed to control them extremely selfishly and irresponsibly let those dangerous things range around. It was Xianzhou who hunted down those beasts that threatens the galaxy and then eat them to the point of extinction. Seriously, guys, seriously? Another important race is the Wingwavers, who reside in a living tree-shaped world named Murdercell. Through the outstretched branches, their army warped to different worlds to plunder resources and lives. That tree also seemed to have some special connection with Arboreal Arbor of Xianzhou. Wingwavers have features close to bird. They call themselves Cloud Lords and have a caste system with the resident of dirt, the enslaved race that cannot fly at the lowest of the low. Xianzhou's homeland was invaded by some Wingwavers, and that is how the emperor of the homeland found the existence of abundance and sent Xianzhou to find blessing for him. A significant event in Xianzhou's history is when Wingwavers invade Xianzhou for the Abrasial Arbor. A hero who was believed to ascend to land hunt used Halo B power to defeat Xianzhou in this war by shooting an arrow to cut down their connection. Otherwise, Xianzhou would have been destroyed and enslaved by Wingwavers. So I highly recommend Denizens of Abundance to kick the Wingwaver out of the team. There will be no Xianzhou allies chasing you guys like hell if Wingwaver didn't attack Xianzhou's homeland. And if Rainbow Mass is true, then the hunt will not even exist. Back to the topic. Lion and Xianzhou's action is basically revenge against the enemy and protect the galaxy from aggressive Denizens of Abundance, which is supported by other major civilizations like the IPC and the Intelligentsia Guild. They aided Xianzhou many times. Herta kind of like Yaoshi, but still helped Xianzhou to fight against the Abundance. Considering Xianzhou is the Alliance and Abundance is the Axis, it's very clear which side we are on. So, salute to your Xianzhou waifu and husbando. They are the war hero. However, the theme of conflict between Xianzhou and Abundance is not just evil monsters versus the justice civilization. Biologically, Xianzhou people are also denizens of abundance, although now they seem to control themselves from turning aggressive and twisted beast, but in history they almost fall to similar situation and still able to become abominations of abundance when they give up their humanity and no longer restrain themselves. In the perspective of denizens of abundance, Xianzhou's self-suppression is probably more insane. Mora is actually the intrinsic nature Xianzhou natives have had since their conversion to long-lived species. This form is more similar to the denizens of abundance and indeed the more powerful. As Xianzhou had found out, the power of abundance will cure incomplete people or those who were born disabled and make life become stronger. But today, Xianzhou natives see Mora as death or even worse. The Ten Lord Commission is in charge of guiding people close to Mora to the afterlife. Basically, Xianzhou have to keep euthanizing their own kin to prevent fall to the level of abomination. In some situations, they have to fight and kill their own comrade, their master or friend. This is why we can find many Cloud Knights panic when they know they are fighting with Sanctus Medicus, who can turn them to Mora. Some Cloud Knights suicide when they are being transformed. Also, unlike denizens of abundance who invade and change other world freely, Xianzhou knows the bad effect immortal species can have on those less developed world, so they don't allow themselves to leave Xianzhou easily. This NPC here have to keep seeking for interstellar work to legally leave. However, Xianzhou is not always like this. In ancient time, when Xianzhou just got the blessing from Yaoshi, people enjoyed it and achieved rapid development in biotechnology, including body modification. They even had a prescription that used Wingwaver bone marrow. I wonder where they get that from. Even after the Xianzhou Alliance was established, someone still secretly recorded ways of transforming to long-lived species. Those methods are very similar to some denizens of abundance extend their life. Long life have brought class solidification and lack of resources, which lead to a civil war that caused Xianzhou Yuanqiao to fall. The civil war ended because even robots cannot watch this anymore, so they start killing Xianzhou people no matter the class to force them to unite, which is brilliant. And after that, Xianzhou began to allow its people to migrate to other planets to ease their social problem. Now we have the Disciples of Sanctus Medicus. It is actually a new organization established in 30 years but used an old name, who try to bring the good old time back. They consider Xianzhou's self-repression today as Davis Archer author's chain that limited their powerful true self. They have found a way to solve the problem of loss of thing and change of form when falling into Mora. It takes Vendahar's bone marrow to help maintain thinness when getting the power of Mora, and takes Mora-struck bone dust to maintain human form. What happened in Xianzhou history and what the Sanctus Medicus did showed another path Xianzhou Alliance can take. expanding to other worlds for resources and violating other lives for their own life, which is no different from the abominations of abundance. In the Sanctus Medicus perspective, they are, indeed, saving Xianzhou from self-repression and endless war by helping them to develop to the immaculate pure land promised by Yao Shi. After all, without limitations of humanity, Xianzhou people will not be killed when they fault moral or have to live with defective bodies. They may also freely conquer other planets and species to satisfy their increasing demand for resources instead of imprisoning themselves on Xianzhou. Xianzhou Alliance carried on with all those sacrifice and self-repression in order to maintain standing as a civilization. The debate between Fu Xuan and Dan Shu pointed out the theme of Xianzhou's conflict with abundance. Insistence on humanity is what differentiates civilization and abominations. So this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching and thank you for enjoying my terrible English. This is actually my first time making YouTube videos, so if there's anything you like or don't like about it, please leave your opinion in the comment. I will be very appreciated.